Good afternoon and welcome to Across the Fence. I'm Jolie Whitney. The clock is ticking. There are only a few more hours until the opening of the 2024 Champlain Valley Fair. Come for the food, rides, and games, and stay for the entertainment, competition, and agricultural education. Joining me for some fair talk is the Champlain Valley Exposition's Executive Director, Tim Shea. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
We've only got a couple hours before it begins, so how are things looking? Is everything ready?
Looking great. I was out there this morning and the pieces and parts are coming together, and now just the finishing touches as we look forward to opening the gates at 3 o'clock this afternoon.
And it's 10 days of fun and excitement, but are you already looking ahead to next year as well?
You know, you always are in this business. We've already put offers in for next year's concerts at the grandstand lineup. That usually takes the longest part of the fair. But also, we reflect on this year's fair after the 10 days and tweaks and adjustments we can make to always make it a better experience for our fairgoers.
And if you're looking for some fair intel, there's an app for that, of course. Can you tell me a little bit about what the Champlain Valley Fair app does?
Yeah, we added the app a couple years ago, and it has everything you need to know, from a map of the food, rides, daily specials, grandstand entertainment, free entertainment, and that means like the jugglers, the high wire acts, when those shows occur. Of course, Mackenzie Racing Pigs are back, and they're always a big part of the fair. But the app has a tremendous amount of information on it, so I encourage people to download it. And also, just when they do come to the fair, we also do still have a paper, schedule for folks that prefer the traditional paper schedule to let them know all the activities that are taking place.
And can you buy things through the app, like even your tickets?
You can, yeah. You can buy grandstand tickets, so for motorsports or concerts, as well as fair tickets.
And of course, Vermont is known for its agriculture, and that's a huge component of the Champlain Valley Fair. But what's different about the agricultural components from maybe just going to a farm stand?
I think it's the opportunity to talk to the superintendents, the staff, and the volunteers in the respective departments to learn about, be it cattle, sheep, rabbits, the garden center. We have a tremendous amount of volunteers and staff that take great pride in their departments and sharing their expertise with the fairgoer.
All right, and for fairgoers, if you don't stop at the Maple Sugar House, did you even go to the fair? And this year marks 50 years that Vermont sugar makers have been sweet on visitors to the Champlain Valley Fair. A couple of years ago, Keith Silva talked with a few people working behind the scenes who make this annual tradition less sappy and more educational.
If you're craving a creamy or cotton candy, or maybe you're down for a donut, then the Maple Sugar House at the Champlain Valley Fair has what you need.
Your maple staples.
Mike Gilmet has been working at the Sugar House as a volunteer for decades.
So then we got involved. We volunteered just like everybody else. And I was a young guy, so I said sure, and I never left, right?
In addition to serving the sweetest treats at the fair, the mission of the Sugar House is promotion and education of Vermont's signature crop.
All of our proceeds go to research. All the research is benefited by every maple producer right in the state or even in the United States.
A majority of the research is conducted at the UVM Proctor Maple Research Center in Underhill. This 200-acre facility is a laboratory where the latest techniques for sap collection and boiling are developed alongside implementing the best management practices to promote healthy and sustainable forests. Brendan Haynes works with researchers at the Proctor Maple Research Center, like Abby Vandenberg, to test and refine the latest practices that improve syrup production. But when the season is over and Brendan has pulled his last tap, he volunteers at the Sugar House and talks with visitors about what it takes to make pure Vermont maple syrup.
Oh God, I love it. Today I'm here at the Sugar House, primarily handing out samples of syrup that we have to interested people that come over and want to have a chance to try out maple, whether they're familiar with the different grades or if they just want an opportunity to try some infused syrup. I think it's important that UVM is here. We're here to share what we know about increasing sap yields through different techniques that have been changing through the years. It's been a lot has changed.
Like Haynes, Gilmet knows chatting up visitors to the Sugar House during Fair Week might make a difference the next time they're at the grocery store.
To kind of get an idea of what's good, better, best, and then they go home and they remember this. So when they're looking for syrup at the market, they know, they have a better idea what they're trying to get or what they want to get.
Funding the future of maple research one bag of cotton candy, and one creamy at a time.
All right, thank you to Keith for that. And of course, Tim, when you go to the fair, what are you looking forward to eating? And you don't have to say maple.
That's a tough one. I will mention maple because it's creamies and the shakes are phenomenal, as we just saw. But also it's the food that you can't see other places. The deep fried taco. I'm not sure anywhere else to get that, but we have a vendor who sells tremendous deep fried tacos. This year we have a couple of new vendors also selling Indian food. We have Korean and Filipino food. So we try to get that mix of traditional fair food from Italian sausage sandwich, fried dough, maple creamies, but also bring in something a bit different for the fairgoer.
Yeah, a little bit of variety there.
Correct.
And of course, it's not always a cheap date bringing the whole family to the fair, but there are certain days that you can save, and there were a couple that you wanted to highlight, different ways you can kind of save going to the fair.
Yeah, Carload Special is probably the best one. That's on Wednesday, so $89 gets you in for fair admission, fair parking, and ride braces for everyone in the car. Legal limit, everyone has a seatbelt, but go to Maple Fields, get the coupon, and bring that on Wednesday to the fair for $89. We also have canned food day on Thursday between 10 and 2. Bring 2 cans of food, get in for free. And then bring an additional 2 cans, get a $10 discount on ride braces. So go to the website, go to the app. These are all outlined. Some great ways to save.
All right, we've already kind of highlighted a little bit the agricultural side, but let's talk about that a little bit more. There's another way that kind of celebrates the people who make Vermont agriculture what it is, and that's, of course, the annual Ag Hall of Fame ceremony that takes place. Can you tell me about that?
It's a real special day, and we're now 20 plus years, nearly 100 people have been inducted over that time, and it's a real thoughtful process we do over the winter with a selection committee to identify 5 Vermonters to induct, which we'll do this year, which we're excited by. It's a real special part of the fair, beyond the rides, the games, the grandstand. It's kind of it's a wonderful presentation, some teary-eyed moments in the comments that are made, but a real celebration of Vermont's agricultural community.
And what does it mean that this big event is happening at the Champlain Valley Fair?
I think it just gives recognition to so many, has given so much to that industry, and reminding that the fair is really based on agriculture.
Of course, and farming can be a thankless job, so it's nice to spend some time kind of appreciating the people who do it.
Yes, it is.
And there are a lot of agricultural products here, and let's talk a little bit about the vegetable competition, which is always fun to go look at. So we're going to have some giant pumpkins, and as well as other agricultural competitions. Can you tell me what to expect? Yeah,
a little bit of everything. It's a real special part of the fair, the garden center, and like I said, we start off with a large pumpkin contest weigh-in on Thursday night. It really runs through the whole 10 days with different they have pumpkin carving. Again, people bringing in looking for their best of show to participate in the competition. So again, encourage people to go in the garden center and also look at the bonsai exhibit we have in the garden center. It's really something to see.
And speaking of trees, there's also a Christmas tree competition.
Christmas tree competition as well, yeah. And again, too, it's a special time of year with Christmas and the trees in August and September. But those folks work so hard to create those products we all enjoy in late December. So it's nice to celebrate the work that they do here in August and September. Yeah, and you were telling me before the taping started, it's not just novices making these decisions. You're bringing in experts to do the judging. We do, yes. No, people really know what they're looking for. And visitors still have time to submit favorites, is that right? They can use the submissions all week. Correct, yes. All right, and how would people do that? They can go to our website and there's information on how to participate. Okay, and the fair wouldn't run, of course, without the many volunteers and somewhat unsung heroes that are helping it all go along. Can you tell me how that's going? It's going well. You know, it's the 10 days, but it's also a lot of them working all summer long, getting their departments ready, scheduling, getting the competitions ready. Sending out tags to people who want to enter things into competition. So, we see them the 10 days, but so much work happens before and after the fair, and really without our department superintendents, our staff, and our hundreds of volunteers, we just couldn't do what we do. And of course, you managed to bring in some really big guests to Burlington. So let's talk a little bit about the musical entertainment that we have here. First, with Flo Rida. And then why don't you tell me who else you got? Yeah, so the grandstand's a big part of the fair, like agriculture and the rides and the food. So Flo Rida, we open tonight. And then tomorrow night is Gin Blossoms and Toad the Wet Sprocket. And then we go into our motorsports, so Monster Truck. Monday it's a Contoys Band. They're doing Eagles Tribute. That's a free show with paid admission. Then on Tuesday we're doing a Jimmy Buffett Tribute Band. Again, free with fair admission. Wednesdays back to motorsports with figure 8 racing. Thursdays Demo Derby, iconic part of the fair. Absolutely. And then Friday country singer Cole Swindell. Saturday is Roots and Boots, some country stars from the 1990s. Then we close out on Sunday, September 1st, with Pentatonics, the a cappella group's coming back. They were here with us back in 2017, so they're coming back this year.
So a big variety of music if you're looking for different tastes.
We try to do a wide variety of genre to try to meet everyone's desires.
Sure, and you touched on some of those motorsports, including a demolition derby in racing and something you're calling a night of fire and destruction. So what can visitors expect from that?
That's a great day. It's Saturday afternoon, 4 o'clock, a monster truck competition, and it's really something special. So I encourage folks to, we do anticipate that will sell out, so if folks have interest, check for tickets as soon as you can.
And you were telling me before you've been doing this for 12 some odd years, so do you have a favorite event to go to every year, or is it change?
I get changed. It's just really watching people enjoy themselves. This is, for a lot of people, they really look forward to it, and it's fun to see all the hard work so many people put into it pay off with the smiles we see on the midway, getting a creamy or enjoying the animals exhibits.
All right, and not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but after these 10 days, are you taking a vacation, or are you nose to the grindstone?
Yeah, you kind of have to put it all away, and then we get ready for the National Street Rod Association, the historic cars that come here in a few weeks' time, but we'll be ready.
And you were actually mentioning before, recently the state of Vermont implemented a legislation so you have to have an inspector for rides, but you were saying that you've been doing that for a while? We have. No, that's a really important piece that people don't want to see because it happens, of course, before the fair opens. So a ride inspector comes in, been here this week, inspecting the rides, put the finishing touches on this afternoon, and then we open the gates at 3 o'clock. All right, so tons of fun and also very safe.
Yes.
All right, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
We mentioned the Champlain Valley Fair app that's available for download, and you can also find out what's happening at the fair at the old-fashioned way on the website champlainvalley.org. And that takes care of our program for today. My thanks to the crew behind the scenes here at WCAX. I'm Jolie Whitney. Have a good one.